After my divorce, I wasn't looking for love again. Last April, though, a man stumbled onto my live stream, and before I realized it, we'd become friends. Our connection blossomed quickly, evolving into a long-distance relationship we kept private for a while. I needed to be sure. We talked every day, and eventually I took a flight across the country to meet him. Our time together was like a dream come true, something I never thought possible for me. Over the next months, I visited him several times until he asked me to move in with him. Trusting what? I packed my things into a storage unit, left my old life behind, and moved across the country to be with him. I met his family, friends, everything seemed perfect, but then I started noticing little things, those gut feelings you can't ignore. His social media was full of women he followed, but I tried to ignore it. When he left for an operation back in his home country, I stayed behind for 3 weeks, managing his place and hosting guests. Loneliness crept in, but I understood he needed the operation, so I tried to focus on our plans. Finally, I joined him for a holiday after those 3 weeks. Then one night I did something I'd never done before. I checked his phone while he was asleep. What I found shattered me. I uncovered messages revealing that he'd been involved with a married woman before meeting me, and their affair had continued until the end of September. He'd been on vacations with her and her children, while her husband was back home working, completely unaware. There were other photos, too. One from days before my birthday in February, showing him with friends, and a woman sitting on his lap, while he'd told me he was at work. I also found messages from the time I was looking after his flat, when he'd been texting women to meet up, and evidence of him exchanging Tinder profiles with a friend. When he woke up, I confronted him, and he became furious, even attacked me. I was in a foreign country with nowhere to go, so I left the house for a bit before coming back. We talked, and I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, trying to believe that he could change. But since then, things have only gotten worse. He's attacked me 2 more times, and each time he apologizes, claiming it's because he's afraid I'll leave him. His behavior has become increasingly suspicious. He's turned off his location and hidden his friends' lists on all his social media, and his phone notifications are now private. When I'm around, he's constantly checking his phone or sneaking off with it, sometimes spending up to 40 minutes in the bathroom with no sounds of movement. He's even started waking up early, texting on his phone, then slipping into the hallway for a few minutes before coming back. One evening, I asked to see his phone, reminding him that he'd promised I could check it anytime, as long as he wasn't sleeping. He gave it to me reluctantly, but he was watching me so closely that I couldn't really look. Another night, he finished work at 4 a.m., and I stayed up to surprise him. I heard his cough as he arrived, so I peeked out the window, planning to say hello. But I saw him standing outside, texting for a few minutes before finally coming inside. All these little things are piling up, and I can't shake the feeling that he's hiding something. I've been in a 13-year abusive marriage before, and he knows the trauma I carry. Part of me wonders if my past is making me paranoid, but another part fears he's deceiving me. To make things harder, I've spent £20,000 in the last 6 months because he hasn't had much money. I'm down to my last £10,000. The divorce settlement I fought so hard for, and I'm starting to panic, wondering if I made a terrible mistake. Am I overthinking? Or is my gut right, telling me he's still hiding things from me?